Welcome to Friday Fire with Dr. Keisha B. Spivey, where you discover how to live life on max in Jesus.
Thank you for tuning in today to a sermon I preach called All Stressed Out and Nowhere to Go. God bless.
Kids, or you got empty nesters, or whatever the situation is, you're going through something that the enemy would love for you to worry about. If anybody knows what I'm talking about, just wave your hand. Anybody got something in your life that you could worry about? Okay. Every one of us have something. And so when I was praying about what we were going to call today's lesson, the Lord gave me a really cute title that I want to share with you. And it's called All Stressed Up, No Place to Go. All stressed up, no place to go. When I read through this text and I got to the word worry, I love studying out meanings of words, from the Greek and the Hebrew and where the other places that it is in the Bible. And when you look up the word worry, the definition is to harass with labor to fatigue. To harass with labor to fatigue. And I think I'm pretty smart, but I'm not that smart. So I wanted to know what harass meant in this definition. So when you look up the word harass, it means to twist and to weave. And immediately I started thinking about our minds and negative thoughts. I started thinking about how I felt when fear or anxiety or something would come upon me that I would worry about. And I imagined me allowing the enemy to twist and weave all my thoughts into something like a basket, to where you can't see where things come in and where it goes out, to where it becomes so intertwined that everything is running in together. Now, most men are compartmentalized thinkers. They can hear some bad news, watch the football game, and eat a pizza. Now, a woman, we hear bad news, we gonna eat the pizza and some donuts and some ice cream, but we ain't separating nothing. We're like a pot of soup. See, men have rooms in their brains. We have a pot. And once you put it in, you can't tell the corn from the tomatoes, from the green beans. It's all stirred up. I don't care what your last name is, you're not separating it. Our stuff starts running in together. Am I telling the truth, women? And you're saying, well, can we talk about it later? And we're like, no, like right now. We got to deal with it in the moment because it's touching everything. I can't move on to the next thing till we deal with this thing because those things are touching. So as I started seeing this image in my mind and I started thinking about anxiety and fretting and worrying, I came up with my own definition. And it is when we allow our thoughts to become twisted and weaved together through effort, hard work, fear, and frustration until we're literally exhausted physically, emotionally, mentally, and even spiritually fatigued. Now, is that not what happens to us when we start to worry? And in our text, Paul is making it clear that we're not supposed to do this. It's like he looked ahead several thousand years into November 26, and he saw that our lives would be every single place they were outside of where they needed to be. It's almost like he saw ahead of time the worry and anxiety that the world would put upon us, and even that which we pick up and we carry for ourselves. And you can't really start studying out these two verses without becoming attentive to your mind and thinking about what you're thinking about, because your thoughts impact every area of your life. You don't believe me? Luke 10:27 says this. It says, love the Lord your God with all of your heart and with all of your soul and with all of your strength and with all of your mind. See, because your mind is a battlefield. It's your greatest place of conflict every single day of your life. More people have issues with their mind than they do their money. More people have issues with their mind than they do their marriage. It's why people can go to sleep 8 hours, and wake up tired. Why? Because they got sleep, but they didn't get rest. Their mind becomes a battlefield of consistent war, and literally their life is being robbed and taken from them, some of which they're giving away because they haven't gotten their mind in check. You think about this, the enemy isn't after your stuff. He's after your mind. Why? Because if you really, really think about it like this, his goal is to stress you to death. His goal is to stress you to death. He wants to kill your joy. He wants to destroy your purpose. He wants to break us down to the place that we quit. He wants to make us think that we can't even get up. Because he understands wherever our mind goes, the man's going to follow. You cannot have a positive life and a negative mind at the same time. And what happens is we get in church and we start speaking Christianese and we know what to say, but what you're saying is not matching how you're thinking, which is why your life is showing you something contrary to what's supposed to be. It got real quiet real quick. Is that too real? We know what to say. We got the hallelujahs down. We speak pure Christianese. But you get home and you're crying yourself to sleep at night. You look at your marriage and you're not happy. You look at all the things that's going on in your life, it's not aligning because what you're saying and what you're thinking are not the same. Proverbs 23:7 says, "For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he." So it's not even necessarily what you got going on, it's what you think about what's going on. What's your perspective on it? How are you taking it in as your own? How are you personalizing this thing? How are you approaching this thing? Because, anybody ever had your car break down, flat tire, won't start, something like that? Well, I've had my share. And I would get so mad. But I had to realize something. The enemy didn't want my car. He can't drive. He didn't want my car, but he wanted my thoughts. He wanted me to shift my attention to something I couldn't do anything about or whatever that situation was, to take it off of who I was in Christ Jesus. You think about your car. Anybody ever had your house, the heat go out, the air go out, something plugged, and you mad as fire? The enemy don't want your house. The enemy don't even want your children. He don't care about them. But he wants you. And he knows if he can get your mind, he can get the rest of you. If he can get your mind, you will literally hand over everything else you've got to him. It's like if he can get your mind, I want you to imagine the enemy. You going home and putting the key in your lock, and you go into the house, and the devil is sitting on your couch eating your Oreos and your ice cream, saying, "What's up?" And you wonder how he got there because you gave him the key. When you start allowing him to get access to your mind and how you see people, how you treat people, how you go through situations, how you approach situations, you are literally allowing him to come in and get full access to everything that you've got. Everything that Christ purchased for you on the cross, you literally start handing it over. And then we want to get mad at the enemy, but he can't take it. You gave it to him. It's your mind that he wants. He wants you suffering from broken focus. He wants you distracted for destruction. And ultimately, he wants you to forfeit in the game of life because he knows he can't beat you. And the only way he wins is if you forfeit. When you think about this, he wants and will do anything to upset you. He'll use anybody to get you. He'll use anything to get your attention because all he wants is your peace. Because he knows if he can get your peace, he's got your power. Because being in the peace of God is our place of strength. Isaiah 26:3 says, "God keeps us in perfect peace, whose mind is stayed on him because we trust him." Everybody wants peace, but you can't get there if your mind is not on him. Your peace has to be tuned into him. It's not God's will or his purpose for you to be stressed out, troubled, or uncomfortable in your mind. That is not God's will for you. You've got to know that anytime you start sensing those things and anytime you start feeling that, you've stepped out of God's perfect will. That should be the indicator that there should be a gauge or a light flashing that something's not right. You have stepped out. The opening verse of our text today says, "Do not be anxious about anything." Now I want you to catch this. Anxiety comes from stuff that hadn't even happened yet. It happens when we're stressing and worrying and fretting over the threat of possible trouble. That is when you're literally robbing your today and your tomorrow's joy and peace over something that may not even happen. You're giving up all that you have today on a threat. When you think about the thoughts that these same threats, this anxiety, how it's aiming to rob you of your peace, your joy, your life. Because here's the thing, if you're not careful, you will allow yourself to think yourself into a full-blown depression. You'll allow yourself to think yourself into bed with the blinds pulled and the cover pulled up to your neck. You will think yourself into a whole bottle of wine or somebody else's pills. You'll think yourself into the arms of somebody that ain't your spouse. Got quiet. You'll think yourself into an uncontrollable fit of anger. Anybody willing to admit you've been there? Don't leave me hanging. Hello. You'll think, you can be sitting here. This is how bad it is. You can be sitting here, ain't nothing happened, start having some thoughts, and you mad, sweating. Ain't nothing happened. You ain't moved. You've literally went from 0 to 60 in 0.20 seconds because, boom, a thought hit you. Anybody ever been sitting on the couch and all of a sudden you were mad? Oh, no, he didn't. Oh, what the world? Anybody driving in the car and all, heck no. Okay. Is that okay, that's too personal. Thank you. You will literally think yourself into a tizzy. And y'all laughing because y'all know I'm telling the truth. I just got the mic. If I could get a camera and go follow you around. How about this one? How many of y'all thought yourselves into an uncontrollable spending spree on Friday because you know you had no business being out shopping on Black Friday, Blue Friday, or Green Friday? But you thought yourself into excusing that behavior. Just keep looking forward. Your husband may not even know. Just keep looking forward. How about this one? Have you ever thought yourself into an unstoppable crying spell? And you crying, ugly cry, raccoon eyes, mascara, hair all over your head. You got your fuzzy socks on, the raggedy house coat. And then the husband or somebody come in and you, yeah. And they're like, what's wrong? You're like, I don't know. Truth is, men, we don't know. It started out a thought that took us to the left and back to the right, and before we knew it, we were sitting there. We don't know why we're crying. And many of us will tell you that it's hormones. That's a lie. No, it's what we've been thinking about. See, y'all back off of hormones. We say that, and y'all like, okay, woo. Y'all throw on the flag. It ain't that. It's we've allowed ourselves to think ourselves into a mess. Your thoughts have that much control over you. And I'm not talking about any of these things from a light perspective. I'm talking about these from personal experience. See, I know what it's like as a kid to watch the impact of depression when just about every female in your family suffered from multiple levels of depression to the point of medication. So I know what that looks like growing up. I know what that looks like on other people. I know what it looks like on me, what it feels like. Because I remember a season in my life where I struggled with depression so bad that I had gotten overweight. And I was literally hopeless. And the sad thing about this, y'all, is I was a Christian. I was a Christian, loved God. But if I was honest, I was a little bit mad with him. Because I felt I'd been dealt some raw deals. And feel like life was fair. And I sat there and I blamed everybody else outside of looking at the woman in the mirror. I blamed my genes and genetics because that's just what the family went through. I blamed Eric because when in doubt, just blame your husband. I mean, it's always the man's problem. You come up with something. But either way you look at it, I was literally sitting there and I know what it feels like. I know what it feels like. And literally you're having to make decisions in these seasons on what you're going to wear and if you're going to take it and you're going to put it on. I think about this one. I'm going to share this, Lisa. As I was preparing this message, I thought about people in ministry, like leaders, where people don't think we go through. Because, our kids don't ever get in trouble. I'm just saying, our kids don't ever make bad decisions. Not our kids. They're PKs. But what's funny, they did it right next to your kid, but I'm the heathen. What about yours? I'm just saying. Okay. Bring it back in. You think about it. They were with your baby. But, oh, my God. Sorry. Think about this. Those in leadership, those who've been walking with God, we're never supposed to get angry and respond in haste because that's so un-Christ-like. But the rest of y'all can cuss people out. At least you think you can. I'm just saying. You think about, we can't laugh at certain things because that's just unholy. The devil is a lie. You just so spiritual that can't nobody relate.
I hope you've enjoyed today's lesson. Join us next week, same place, same time. And until then,
may the fire on your altar never burn out.